And welcome to the Over 40s Fitness Podcast. My name is Tristan Lowe, and here we are towards the end of the year. We're now mid-December 2023, and today's quick subject to talk about is stresses that we put on ourselves in the festive period. That will be probably mid to late November, all the way through to the first week in January, and what people do to cope with, battle, or ignore stresses that are brought on at this time of the year. All right, so just to be clear, I celebrate Christmas just like most other people do. Have a few days off work, enjoy good company with friends and family, and do a couple of things that ordinarily we don't have time to do in the year. Now you see me holding this bottle here, and this is a bottle of gin, and it's Japanese cherry blossom gin. So for those of you that are watching, there it is. Okay, and gin is a drink that a lot of people around the world over enjoy. I've had one or two myself, but don't overindulge. Okay, so the point of it, as this is a health channel, is things to look to avoid, or at the very least, keep at a low level during the festive period. All right, let's start. Alcohol. Yep, alcohol is it's a suppressant. It suppresses our mood. It suppresses our physical ability, our cognitive skills, our ability to physically perform at work, rest, or play. It slows down our digestive system. It has to go through our organs as well. So anything that has to go through your organs, which isn't exercise, blood, or nutrients at a cellular level, is probably not a good thing. All right. So what we find is, as a personal trainer now, I've been working with clients for a total of just over 15 years, and a lot of personal training clients I've worked with drink alcohol. Not alcoholics is a different thing. They drink, all right? They'll enjoy a drink. And often it's not just once on a Friday night. It can be a Wednesday, a Thursday, all the way through till Sunday. So I would say, if you're planning on having a drink, that could be beer, wine, gin, lager, whiskey, or as a lot of young and middle-aged women drink, prosecco. There are some men that drink prosecco as well. I personally don't know any, but I know a lot of women that I've trained that drink prosecco. And of course, prosecco manufacturers, and dental surgeons love it, because the manufacturers and distributors of prosecco know that a woman between the age of 16 and upwards of, I'd say, mid-60s, one of their go-to drinks is going to be prosecco. I think personally, it's almost aimed at women, in the same way that a pint of Guinness is almost aimed at men. Although we can drink what we want, it's up to us. It's a free country, so to speak. Now, booze or alcohol, whilst it might actually drop our guard, it can lower our guard. It can lower our, for want of a better word, our inhibitions to do things ordinarily we wouldn't do. Now, we all know that, a glass of beer, a glass of wine, a whiskey can actually relax us, put us in a temporary good mood. But excess alcohol will do the opposite. All right? It will actually affect how we actually move, how we think. You can't drive or operate machinery when you're regularly drinking alcohol. I personally have trained or worked with one or two alcoholics. They've been diagnosed by a specialist. Not self-diagnosed, they've been diagnosed as an alcoholic, one of which I actually managed to help him get through it as well. And I've had family members actually, quite some time back, years and years ago, who were by definition alcoholic, meaning they had to have some form of alcohol on a daily basis, whether it be a thimble or a bucket load. All right, so don't think, because it's mid-December, what are we? We've got 2 weeks out until Christmas. Going to start indulging now. That's work parties, Christmas parties, family parties, next door neighbours. Some people will even go out drinking for none of those just after they've been Christmas shopping. I was walking through Lincoln City the other day, and I was surprised at how many people I saw at 2 o'clock in the afternoon that were out drinking. Yes, it was on a Saturday, but people go out and drink alcohol when they're Christmas shopping as well. I think I'm not sure if it's a tradition thing, or if they think, we're going out, we're going to buy the presents for family and friends, so why not get half drunk or half cut while we're at it, right? That's a slippery slope. Yep, don't let anyone try and convince you that being inebriated or half cut for a best part of a month is a cool, hip or trendy thing. It's not, it's the exact opposite. Go out, go to a party, have 1 or 2 drinks. If you're not driving, have 1 or 2 drinks, all right? And just because you've been drinking for years, that doesn't give you a physiological carte blanche to drink 10 pints of lager or 8 whiskies or 8 double gins and double gin and tonics. It's just going to make you worse. Yeah. Some people, remember, they booze to soothe. Yeah. It will actually have detrimental effects on your ability to handle stress. Stress is our body's way of dealing with things. We have to actually be able to handle stress: physical, mental, emotional, academic, geographic, financial. We have to be able to deal with stress, and it is infinitely harder to deal with stress for our body's hormones to actually respond to it and handle it if we're drunk or if we're half cut. Meaning if we've had 2 or 3 instead of the 5 or 6. I've got a very close friend of mine who, when he was in his mid to late 20s, he was from Worksop in Nottinghamshire. Historically, for want of a better phrase, a blue collar working town in North Nottinghamshire, the town of Worksop. And he used to, and we're still good friends now, just make it clear, he used to think nothing of drinking 15, 16 pints of beer and lager on a Friday night after work. And him and his brothers used to finish work at sort of 12 midday in Worksop, ordinarily labour work, and they'd go straight home, straight into town drinking, and they would start drinking until they couldn't drink anymore, and sometimes we wouldn't get home till 1 or 2 a.m. And I understand that was, you know, the phrase is, oh, it's a regional thing, it's a geographical thing, it's a cultural thing or tradition. Well, your body doesn't know that, your organs and your brain don't know that. And remember, when you go out and you've had a skinful of alcohol, and we see it all the time, we're talking men now, men with beer bellies. There are women with beer bellies, even worse, but men with beer bellies. All right, okay. If you did a proper test, it's not beer, it's not alcohol. What happens is the alcohol is a digestive suppressant. It slows down the body's ability to safely and correctly digest food. And what happens is the alcohol then, because the food isn't digesting properly through our gut, through our colon, out of our body and spreading around our body the way it should do, it actually stays, it takes longer, so therefore the abdominal wall can stretch. Yeah, so the abdominal wall can stretch because it's still full of food when the food should have been digested. So the food you eat before and after a night out on the sauce, all right, it is the food that stretches your abdominal wall. We think it's the actual alcohol, but you can urinate, you can pass the alcohol out and have a test the next day, and you'll find that within 24 hours, maybe more, that there's no alcohol left in your body. But how comes the belly is still stretched? And it's from constant drinking booze and eating food before, during or after. It's actually a food belly. The abdominal wall has become distended. All right, so it's not a beer belly, it's a food belly. It's an abdominal distension. All right, okay, so Christmas time, we're going to go through a lot of stresses. That's work, rest and play, geographical stress, whose house we're going to, who's coming to us. We get the mums and some dads that are cooking for 1,000 people on Christmas Day. There's a lot of stresses involved in that, going out, buying the food, buying the booze, deciding whether the TV goes on or whether it stays on or goes off, and we know that's quite an important thing. I don't think we're getting the Queen's speech this year. We could be the King's speech. That'll be interesting. I might even watch that myself, or at least listen to it. All right, so with those stresses that we have at Christmas time, a lot of stresses as well will come from the financial part. Feeling obligated to go and spend an arm and a leg or a lot of money on gifts or presents for family and friends. And it's okay to do that. I think it's okay to do that. But even if you've got a lot of money, your financial decisions at Christmas will be the same. They're just made on bigger numbers. You know, if I'm going to go and buy a gift for someone that costs £10 or £50, someone with a lot of money is going to buy something that's £500 or £5,000. The process is the same. You just move the decimal point across. They've got the same problems, just with a bigger amount of money to spend. And everyone expects us to, ordinarily, they expect to either buy a gift for someone or at the very least, or receive a gift from someone. Okay. Then there's the stresses of, I don't like the gift. I didn't want this, I'm going to take it back, it doesn't fit, I don't like it, you got the wrong person. That is another form of stress. And remember, stress in small doses is good. Our body's ability to fight stress should be something that we can replicate on a regular basis. But constant stress throughout the year, that is then culminated towards late November through to the first week in January, I'm adding a week either side, is just exacerbated by friends, family, financial situations, work situations. Now, I can tell you how to deal with that. Cut out this. Yep. Have one on Christmas Day, all right? If your religion or some form of culture bans you from drinking alcohol, then great, you've got a head start. But if not, and you're going to have one, have one. Have one on Christmas Eve. Have one on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, New Year's Day. Yeah. And listen, as long as you're not driving or operating machinery or working with any dangerous tools or anything like that, or get this, if you know you've got an alcohol dependency problem or you think you could have, don't have any. Yeah, find something else to do instead. Have one of these. Have a coffee. That's gone cold now, yeah. All right, so I'm not being a Scrooge, okay? I'm not part of the Charles Dickens Appreciation Society. I like Christmas just like anyone else. And so festive cheer is upon us now, and it'll be literally on our door 2 weeks from now, coming down the chimney or through the windows, in whichever way. But remember, if you know or you think that you're going to be stressed out and you want to actually use booze to soothe things and make the problems go away in the festive time of year, it doesn't. It just makes it even worse. Yeah, it will dumb you. It literally dumb you down. It will help you or push you to make bad decisions, not decisions that you ordinarily wouldn't make. Replace the booze with good nutrition or replace it with exercise. Go out and do a walk or a run or a swim, even on Christmas Day. I've been on my bike this morning, only cycled about 6 miles on my mountain bike, there's a few hills involved, and went weightlifting as well. I come back, have a good breakfast, healthy breakfast, I feel really good. I don't need booze, I don't need alcohol. Yeah, I've had my fix of exercise. So, all right, okay, that's my contribution towards, that's today's Advent calendar. My podcast channel is essentially health and fitness based. A lot of subjects I'm going to be bringing into 2024 that ordinarily aren't based on health and fitness, but I will actually bring them round and make them relatable. Whether that's fashion, travel. I try and avoid politics. Okay, I train a lot of people in my line of work who are politically one way or the other, or appear to be anyhow, and it's something that I've found that is a hole that I don't want to go down. So I'll actually look into it, and if at any time I do bring something that arises that may be considered political in it, feel free to comment. I'll always bring it back to fitness and health and the body and the mind. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, I'm trying a different light. A client of mine, Joyner, gave me a light, one of these big bright sort of working lights. It's around, it's 3 o'clock now on a Sunday, a little bit overcast, so I'm using this. So if you can see any shadows around me, I hope not. That's because I'm trying a different light system, and hopefully in 2024 we'll have another one. All right, remember, keep booze to a minimum over the festive period, or even cut it out entirely. It won't help you. It will just slow down your progress and assist you in making bad decisions over the festive period, and certainly into 2024. Okay, my name's Tristan Lowe. The podcast is the Over 40s Fitness with Tristan Lowe. We're coming towards the end of the year. It's my first podcast, a YouTube podcast that I've done this year. I did do a radio and podcast years ago, but now I've been working on it for about 5-6 months now. It's a slow process, but I hope I can enjoy it, which means you can enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, and share the channel. See you next time round. Enjoy Christmas and stay sober.